We're sorry to tell you that due to the severe weather conditions and also to the fact that we're shipping quite a lot of water, we're closing down and the crew are at this stage leaving the ship. Obviously we hope to be back with you as soon as possible, but we'd just like to assure you all on land that there's nothing to worry about. We're all quite safe. Just for the moment we'd like to say goodbye. Tom?
Yeah, it's not a very good occasion really. I have to hurry this because the lifeboat is standing by. We're not leaving and disappearing. We're going onto the lifeboats, hoping that the pumps can take it. If they can, we'll be back. If not, well, I don't like to say it.
I think we'll be back one way or another, Tom.
I think so.
You know, the optimism that they will get, you know, that somehow, you know, they'll get the spare anchor down, that all those ones get, you know, you're into that, you're battling, you're out, you know, in your mind, you're fighting. Once you know they're in trouble, you know, and they just had a whole sequence of things go wrong. So they couldn't get the spare anchor wouldn't come out. I mean, just ridiculous stuff happened, you know, that and it's rough, and by the time they did get the anchor out, you know, it was just that bit too late. It was hitting the sandbank and everything like that. And I suppose just a feeling of, you know, because at that point in time, the whole, you know, the station was, you know, was going very well. Everything was running. You know, the whole thing was good. I mean, it was very nice, and a tremendous sense of loss. I mean, a tremendous sense of loss. And I remember, you know, a couple of people arrived at my where I was, and it was like, you know, it was very much like they were that a family. Some member of your family had died. I mean, it was very much that. It was very extraordinary. I mean, it was really enormously shattering. I mean, it was, because obviously if you've been through 1,000 battles, at least 1,000, if not 500,000, to keep that thing, you know, out there, and to keep it going. When, you know, there's a moment when the battle is over, at that moment, that, you know, like there's nothing, you know, there's no way. The North Sea, Mother Nature has said, that's it. And that, it's a moment that, it's physical, almost. I mean, it just absolutely, I mean, emotionally, I mean, it was just shattered. I was shattered. I mean, I really was absolutely shattered. I mean, I was amazed myself how shattering, you know, the thing was, how incredibly powerful the loss was. I mean, it took me 6 months. I mean, I know it sounds incredible, but it took me 6 months to recover. I mean, it was that heavy. You know, it was really, you know, it was really like much more than, you know, other periods when we've had difficulties and things, and you know, that one of the actual sinking, I mean, was towed away and all kinds of things happened before. It was still there. There was, you know, there were possibility, there was hope when it existed, but, you know, but that was absolute. That was absolute. Even though you obviously thought, well, you know, after a certain period of time, we'll get it together again. But there was such an enormous, and there was no insurance and all that, because no insurance would cover it and all that stuff, you know. So there was no question of, you know, so that literally the totality of effort and work and battle was just gone. You know, we've come through all kinds of storms and battles, and, you know, we're going to make it again, type of thing. And then, you know, that one happens. I mean, that's life, isn't it? I mean, it's like, you know, everybody else is going to have a motor car crash, you're never going to have it, and so on. You know, that's the way one is, about how things are. You know, you try and not dwell on the negatives of all the radio ships that have existed. I mean, in terms of, you know, the physical ship and the masts and the, you know, the 300-foot tower. I mean, that 300-foot tower is amazing. So that's that, and you know, all the putting that together, heading into the 80s. I mean, we had all kinds of battles with American backers and all that stuff, and it made us very special, at some point in the future it would be interesting to, to do that as a specific, story, not the type of kind of story. But I mean, basically, anyway, you end up with the ship fitted out, but beautifully. I mean, it is an immaculate ship. I mean, it is really the most amazing ship that I've ever seen, and it's perfect for the job. I mean, had I gone to the shipyard that built that ship and said, look, build a radio ship, they couldn't have done a better job. I mean, there's one or two things you might have changed, tiny, but I mean, the major structure and what it is and how she sits there like, it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know whether you lads have been on when she's been rough, but it does not move. I mean, it is absolutely solid, which is really, really staggering. And somehow, when there's the heavy wind, it's sort of, because that huge mast, it's sort of held. The wind kind of holds it. And so the sea doesn't have any effect, whereas I suppose that mast wasn't on it, it would be moving a lot more, but the mast sort of acts as a sort of stabilizer. And so the thing just sits there perfectly. It's really extraordinary. The legal position of Caroline hasn't altered between 64 and 84. It's exactly the same position today as it was then. There is absolutely no difference. The only thing that has happened is that the laws of the UK have altered in relation to English companies, etc. I mean, in other words, the British government have said the ship can be there broadcasting because it's entitled to be there broadcasting internationally, and we cannot make that illegal because we haven't got the power to do it. If they had, they would have done it, of course. The socialist government at the time, under Harold Wilson, who didn't have a mandate from the British public to actually pass that law, incidentally. But to actually make it clear, and we're running it on this basis, that the offices are for selling the advertising, which of course the biggest part of the act that affects us, are in America. The companies that are advertising with us are either American, Canadian, Australian, etc. So that, you've got your international advertising. So obviously there are 101 countries outside of the United Kingdom, or 150 or something. So, I mean, obviously any one of those countries could buy ads on Caroline. Is quite legit, and reach the pan-European advertising. The sort of Holland, Belgium, France, West Germany, England, Ireland, we're getting. So in terms of the common market population, we're hitting quite a large chunk of them.